Too many people standing their ground, standing the wrong ground. Predator's face, he possessed a race. Possession, a war that doesn't end. Children of God, feed on children of earth. These people don't care for people. These days are the hardest. Material fields, material harvest. Decoration on chain that binds. Mirrors gold. The people lose their minds. Crazy horse, we hear what you say. One earth, one mother. One does not sell the earth. The people walk upon. We are the land. Today is now and then. Dream smokes touch the clouds. On a day when death didn't die. Real world time, tricks, shadows lie. Red, white, perception, deception. Predator tries civilizing us. But the tribes will not go without return. Genetic light from the other side. A song from the heart, our hearts to give. The wild days, the glory days live. Crazy horse, we hear what you say. One earth, one mother. One does not sell the earth. The people walk upon. We are the land. How do we sell our mother? How do we sell the stars? How do we sell the air? Crazy horse, we hear what you say. Crazy horse, we hear what you say. We are the seventh generation. We are the seventh generation.
This part of the program actually is a great transition because when we talk about the Bundys at the Melhurst Wildlife Refuge, occupied it for like 41 days, and now one person was killed at the end of that thing by the FBI. The one thing that happened, though, that they went to trial, nothing ever happened. That was an armed occupation, right?
Right.
And but when we talk about Standing Rock, we're talking about native land and a peaceful movement being immediately attacked for being there because they want to put in this Dakota Access Pipeline. Now, before we get into that too much, I first want to talk, because I'm a veteran, a Vietnam veteran, Marine Corps like you, Marine Corps. I was there in 1968. Can you tell us about your service a little bit?
Well, not much to tell, just the Marine Corps, you know, it's a regular Marine Corps, and that's what we did. We was doing our job. I fought in Korea and went there and back, and we did our job like we were supposed to do, and what we volunteered for, like a Marines volunteer for everything.
Yeah.
You know, the same as Native people. You get a lot of Native people at Marines, you know, because they
Yeah.
volunteer.
Yeah.
And they volunteered for the fight for their country since time began, so that's why I think it's going to be pretty effective with these Native people down there. And I one time was talking about this freeing these people from Richard put here. Well, I got a granddaughter that's in prison in jail down there. She's been picked up 3 times.
In Dakota there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And her trial is Monday. And they say she had a gun on her. But there's no proof. They can't prove that. And nobody that was there that was with her said she didn't have a gun. And it was just something that they came up. And it was the 3rd time that she got thrown in jail down there. So they've got to put a $100,000 bail on her.
Wow.
And now with this thing coming up and but they released all them other prisoners, what kind of effect is it going to show if they don't show some leniency to our Native people down there, which are doing a lot more peaceful thing than what was going on over there?
Right.
And what is the country going to look like if they don't support the Native people on something like this, you know? To show the difference in they got off scot-free. These other ones are over here peacefully protesting. They're thrown in jail and putting charges against them. Maybe it'll come up and kind of have effect for their.
Well, and
Released it.
there's a sort of irony that we just finished the so-called Thanksgiving or Thanks-taking, as we might want to call it, and it's more than an irony. It's criminal what's going on in Standing Rock. I mean, it
sure is.
It really is criminal. Now, you're also an elder of the Dakota Sioux,
Yeah.
and you were back there in Standing Rock.
Yeah, I've been back and forth there and been going.
Could you tell us what it was like while you were there?
Well, it was, like you said, a peaceful demonstration, and it was really a gathering of Native people and sharing of Native people as something that has never been done in our Native people before. And like I said, it was peaceful, and it was a good gathering. We had while I was there was no confrontations except with when they had these, what we called paid policemen there with their guard dogs,
Right.
with their attack dogs. I was there when that happened. I stood on the hill and watched every bit of that, and I know the truth that they put on the media said that the militant, not militants, what do they call them, armed.
Well, security.
Yeah, well, they got security on them,
Yeah,
but they're nothing
they're
but
mercenaries, basically.
yeah, mercenaries. They're paid gunmen, actually, is what
yeah.
they are. And the policemen stood on the hill, watched everything that was going on. And then when they released the dogs on them people, the kids and the young people didn't have no place to go. They just took off running, and there was no confrontation with them at all. It turned out that 4 of the policemen are the guardsmen, or whatever you call them. I call them mercenaries.
Yeah, I do too.
And with their dogs and their attack dogs, when they turned their dogs loose on them, that everybody just running, the dogs attacked them, and it was, I watched every bit of that, and it was really, really something that you don't think really would happen in our own country here, you know.
That's right.
There was one little girl that came up, she was probably about 22 years old, and I was speaking in the arbor, and she came up and she said, I want to say something, so we let her talk, and she said, she said, I'm a Cheyenne Indian. And she said, I have a flesh offering. She said, and I'm going to offer this thing as a flesh offering. And she was one that got attacked by the dogs. And she said, I'm not ashamed to show this. She opened up her blouse, and the dogs had tore pieces of her flesh off right here.
Oh, my goodness.
And she said, this is a flesh offering. She said, for what I have to offer for my people, she said. And she closed it back up. So, you know, it was, and several of them got attacked by the dogs, you know. And so I guess they're maybe trying to get something done about that, you know, because the people weren't even policemen. You know, that was what.
Well,
was the sad
yeah,
thing.
I heard that they were also their dogs weren't trained properly. They didn't have the license, proper license for
they
the
come
bring
from a
those
dog
dogs
kennel,
in. That's
trained
right.
dog kennel.
Yeah.
And they even the dogs even turned on their own people.
Yeah.
So that was something that really should never have been, but it just
Well, since you've been gone, there've been increased violence in the area. What have you heard? You said your daughter was there, or
Yeah, my granddaughter's in
granddaughter?
jail. She's been in jail. She goes to court Monday.
Okay.
See what we hope that she gets something. What happens, we don't know yet. We'll know Monday. And then I got a son there now, right down. He's been there since it started, and my granddaughter's husband just called me tonight and gave me some information, and he's going to send me a bunch of information tomorrow. He's a tribal chairman,
What's his name?
Dave Archambault.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah, he's tribal chairman, and that's my grandson.
Oh.
So I have a lot of relatives there,
I've
relatives
seen
from
him
South
on,
Dakota, North Dakota, and all over.
See him on Democracy Now!
Yeah, so I'd be there if I could, but kind of at my age, it's kind of hard to spend too much time over there.
Yeah.
My wife isn't well too, and so I'm back and forth doing what I can here.
Well, you're the witness. Come and tell us what's going on. And
I've had a lot of protests we've done here, and
you might put up some of the pictures that just kind of do them randomly. Where I think I met you when there was a demonstration at the Army Corps of Engineers at Lloyd Center, and that's when I first came up to you and asked you if you'd do this program, and I'm so happy that you came out here. But that was a good turnout, and people there, and there's been one after another. Yeah, although there's a poster here that I saw online and picked up. I think this is important for people to see. As you go through the various photos, you'll see different people there. There's me. That's me there that day, and I put on I drew on my shirt so that we had water equals life, no DAPL, and just got that on there with my Veterans for Peace. So there you are. Look at that. See? You're out there leading the people there. But when we're out there, you say that you're going to be meeting with the Corps of Engineers here?
Here. I'm supposed to they're supposed to make arrangements for me tomorrow to meet with the Corps of Engineers supervisor for this program. Now, how big a person he is in the whole place, I don't know. But my grandson told me that I would be the representative from Standing Rock for him, because they can't get a person down here and that. So we don't know what day that's going to be or anything. And they're really up to their necks and everything down there, so.
And I mean, there's a recent position that the Corps of Engineers is saying that they're going to evict people from the land on December,
5th, I think.
5th, they said, but I mean, it actually starts on the 6th. If they're still there by the end of the 5th, then they begin evicting. Now, how is that going to happen? They evict when people, they're going to be using violence? Is that...
well, that's what I'm afraid of. I hate to see, because there's 12,000, 11,000 people there now. When the veterans show up, the veterans are going to take a confrontation of everything. And then veterans aren't going to back off. So that's why it's really important to talk to these Corps of Engineers, see if they can get this put off or stall it, why they're evicting them off of that land that originally was theirs in the first place.
Right.
And why do they have to leave? It's too big a camp to move. And so there's going to be problems. I hope not, but it really don't look good.
So what was the treaties of that land? They never did sign over to them in the treaties. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Dave?
Well, I don't really know about that. I was trying to study up on that, but somehow or other they got hold of this land that was supposed to originally native land there.
Right.
Well, it all was.
Right.
And they just take, like I said, they take until you got nothing left hardly.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing to them down there, and that's what happened to that land. They just kept taking.
Well, I heard something about, there was a guy on a video stream that I was listening to, and he was talking about that in 18-something or other, or that the land was there. Usually they had a treaty rights for those lands, and then when they came in, and it just took over this vast amount of land without a treaty. So it's never been legally handed over to them in any form, shape. So right now, for them to be on that land, for the Standing Rock Sioux to be standing on their own land is legal and is moral. So you put the two together. Who's the people that are illegal in this fight? And that is our own government is doing this. And for who?
For who is right.
For who?
Yeah.
You know, when we think about it, it's for these what do they call it? Energy transfer partners, this coalition of people with money invested in oil, fracking oil.
It's the greenbacks that are talking there.
Yeah.
Because why would the Corps of Engineers support them? You know? And move these people off of that land that originally was native land, and still, even to this day, the treaty rights say that anything within 50 miles of native reservation, then native people have the rights to say anything on that land, you know, to still have the right of way and the say on that land. So that still puts them in a legal spot where they're at. And why the government has not looked into this, I don't know. And if I'm saying this much, that if this goes on, I think there's going to be a real confrontation there.
Now you were calling for Native American veterans all to show up, and I know that when I'm with Veterans for Peace on the national board, and our board has actually called out for our veterans members that can get out there as veterans to be there in support. And so there are a number of people that are heading there to be there on December 5th for this confrontation, and the veterans will be there in the front lines.
Well, you see, that's what I'm saying right now. This is this confrontation we're having right now. What's going on over there is anymore. It's not really an Indian thing. It's everybody's program.
That's right.
And our native vets and our white vets and all veterans are going to be there, and they blend together. Now, same as our people. You know, at one time it was just the native people. Sure. And now it's a mixture of so many people that it finally has become a United Nations there, a united people.
That's wow.
And if you stand and look at them, you'll see as many of our white brothers and sisters as you do natives. So, and you see them sharing.
Well, when that I remember that as being a prophecy of the Hopi a long time ago. That, you know, all the people went in different directions, and towards the end, people will come back into the circle, and then people will come into the circle, and all the brothers and sisters will come together and join the circle.
And one thing that we're seeing history right now.
Yeah.
We're seeing the native people, first time in history that all these native peoples, 500 and some tribes come together there. They come together and they're blending together, and the white people are accepting them as one, and they're all going in there as we, you know. So it's a correlation of people that is beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think I've told my wife and the rest of them, I said, you know, I said, I'm 82 years old, and I said, the first time I've even expected something like this to happen. And so even if we lose, we win. You know, we've got a lot of victory, we got a lot of pride behind us, and we've won because we brought our people together, and it brought the natives with the rest of the community all together and sharing life together.
There's, how many tribes have been there?
Oh, there's 500 and some tribes there now.
500 and some tribes. And this is from all over the Americas and around the world, because I saw...
Half of the world.
Yeah, because I've seen the Maoris were supporting, people in Hawaii, the Palestinians, indigenous people, Latin America, Central America, all these people are coming out, the Zapatistas. People are supporting from all over the world, indigenous communities coming out and supporting this, and people, like you said, everybody.
People are starting to realize that we're all brothers and sisters. We're all one people.
Yeah.
You know, there's no difference in the color and anything. We're all one people. People are starting to realize that.
Yeah.
And that's something that's really big for our native people in 500 years. This is the first movement we've seen that has went our way like this. And I think, win or lose, we've got a big victory behind us already. So.
Well, can you tell us a little bit of history about the lands there? I remember when Wounded Knee around in that area too, or is that?
Yeah, see, Wounded Knee is my reservation. I'm from Pine Ridge, and that's where that happened. And that North Dakota, South Dakota, and all of that area in there was all native land at one time. And that was where our ancestors were. Montana, where all our ancestors' lands where we grew up, with the Lakota and the Cheyennes and the Arapahoes and all the Plains Indians. It was their home country, and that's where they lived all their lives, and that's where they wound up, and that's where they're at now. So it's a sacred land to a native people, you know. So,
And I remember back in the 60s, the Native American movement, AIM. And right now we still have Leonard Peltier as a political prisoner.
Yeah.
One of the longest. I mean, he's the Nelson Mandela of the Native American community, still being in prison,
Yeah.
right? So we
all it was is, like I said, political prisoners. you
yeah.
know. And I don't think they are going to ever get him out, which we're hoping that Obama would have freed him, but I don't think he will.
Well, you know, you'd hope he would have intervened in this
Yeah.
situation. In fact, since you mentioned Obama, I should say I wrote a letter to Obama. You know, I said it's imperative that you end the violence against Standing Rock Sioux water protectors. They have been harassed, assaulted with dogs, pepper sprayed, arrested, strip searched, put in dog cages, and last night the police used flashbang grenades, rubber bullets, and water cannons in freezing temperatures. This should remind you of the brutality of Southern good old boy police during the civil rights movements, when the batons and fire hoses and dogs attacked peaceful black families demonstrating for their civil rights. The human cry from from decent citizens and people from around the world to stop it was so loud and so clear that it shook the very foundations of Washington, D.C. and the halls of government, and they did. Last night, another brutal police force using rubber bullets and water cannons shot a 13-year-old girl in the face and put a tribal elder in critical condition. This happened on your watch, Mr. President. It is up to you to hear that same human cry, to stop it, to stop the violence now, and to shut down Dakota Access Pipeline now. You know, and then I did that as
That's really good.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to say something too, that this little girl that was shot,
Yeah.
again with rubber bullets, the little girl, that 21-year-old that lost her arm.
That's right.
They see what happened to, talking about they're not Native Americans, they were white
Right.
kids, and they came there as protectors of the land.
That's right.
So that's what they were there for. And this little girl that lost her arm, to us, she's nothing but a hero.
Yeah, Sophia Walensky.
Yeah. She put her life on the line. Her dad come in and stand behind her, and she put her life on the line. And to our people that are there, she's nothing but a hero. And we hope that she goes down that way. And always remember that she's in our heart and that we all love her.
Oh, did she? I knew they were trying to save her arm. Did she lose the arm?
Well, we don't know for sure
No,
yet.
no. I
We
hope
don't
they
know.
saved it. But
Yeah, I hope they can save it.
she
but-
reminds me of Rachel Corey that was mowed down by the caterpillar in Gaza in the Palestinian lands in those days. You know, everybody is actually anybody out there right now is risking on the front lines is risking being assaulted by these police.
And talking about Obama, President Obama now, these little girls that were there and got this, what would he feel like if that was his daughter that was
Thank
there?
you.
Would he intervene? Would he stop and say, let's stop this now?
Yeah.
He's got to do something.
Yeah.
He's got to do something or his country is going to turn completely. I think it's going to be a really a terrible thing if he don't stop this engineers from evicting them people. It's going to be terrible. I'm just almost sure that there's going to be a big confrontation there. Maybe an unarmed confrontation, but we might lose a lot of lives if it goes on. It could turn into another Wounded Knee.
That's
Or
right.
Sand Creek. My people in Sand Creek and Cheyenne were massacred the same way under a flag of truce and an American flag. They were massacred completely, same as Wounded Knee. Now this same thing could happen. We're under the American flag, and if these veterans go out there and with their flags and their honor, their medals on flags and everything, you know, showing them, and if they're set upon by some of the forces there, that could be the worst thing that could happen to our government here in the United States. You know, it could be the worst thing that could happen.
It's a shame.
It'd be a total shame because our whole world will turn against them completely.
Yeah.
And this is to save our government. I think President Obama has to intervene.
And if he does, I mean, there should be every senator and congressperson who has any decency left in them should be out there. The only person I even heard speak out against it was Bernie Sanders, you know. Jill Stein, who was a candidate also, was out there on the lines and is actually has a warrant for arrest. And I think she's going to court too shortly for being out there. But you know, where's the rest of these representatives of democracy?
Democracy, yeah. Our governor and our senator is really supporting it.
Yeah.
You know, they've stood up for it. And by the way, I got a letter from my grandson, the president of the tribe, and I meant to bring it, and I forgot all about it. He's thanking Oregon.
Okay.
He said that Oregon is one of the highest countries that support this thing, and he put a letter of thanks to everybody out here.
Well, that is great. I'm glad to hear that.
I wanted to bring it and, you know, leave it here, and I forgot. Like I rushed over here.
You
but
know,
it was a beautiful letter he wrote about Oregon people supporting it.
If you send me that by email or something, I'll put it out online. You know, I think that would be great.
I'll send it to you. I'll get it to you right away.
Okay, that would be great. I'd love
it's
to
a
do
beautiful
that.
letter, and we presented it in 2 or 3 other rallies, and people just yelled and screamed, and he thanked them personally for support.
Now,
that
have you talked with our local, our governor and our?
No, I wanted to get him them letters.
Okay.
The governor and the senator, because both of them are supporting it.
Yeah.
And we have nothing but praise and pride for them too.
Well, I wrote to Governor Kate Brown also similarly that about. I mean, she put out something about let's talk about Thanksgiving, and she put something up on a website that said, you know, can you tell us what you're thankful for? Many people said we're thankful for our family and stuff, and I was saying I'm thankful that I know the truth about Thanksgiving and that it was more about taking, and I'm thankful that the people are out there at Standing Rock trying to save this planet and this earth, you know. But we need people to stand up, and we need the governor. If you can, at any time, Governor, you know, send aid and assistance to the people out there. And I hope that, you know, they pay attention to this stuff. And more people out there, I mean, you out there also can be involved. If you can't get out to Standing Rock, you can't be out to every protest, you can still write your senators, you can still call the news media, you can still do something and add something. Is there's going to be a caravan leaving here shortly to go to it?
Yeah,
do you know
I think
about
the
that?
20th is going to caravans. It's sponsored by some unanimous company.
Okay.
So, and they're not only coming from Portland, they're going all over. But you're right. If we write to the senators and keep writing them and keep writing, something's got to turn. And one thing that I wanted to say, you talked about being thankful for Thanksgiving. I'm thankful to our people.
Yes.
Who are people who have come together as one. Not just the Native people, but all of our people together have come together as one. And that gives my heart a lot of thanks. As old as I am, I've seen this. And it's the first time. So we've got a lot to be thankful for, really.
I think it's great. And people can also go to Veterans for Peace, our national website, in which we do have a call out for veterans across the country. That's www.veteransforpeace.org. Or, you know, even locally, you can check with if you're a veteran, check with Veterans for Peace Chapter 72. We have a website, a local website. And we are all in support of this effort. We're a part of Black Lives Matter. We have a motto called Peace at Home, Peace Abroad. And for me, with our new President-elect Trump, I often sign off as let's building bridges, not walls. Let's do that, you know, and let's stop the pipeline. No Doppel. And I want to thank you, Buzz, for coming out here. When we talk about thank yous, I want to thank you for coming out here and letting us know what's going on and keeping in touch so that we can let people know all across the country what's going on here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, it's my place for us to thank you for doing what you guys are doing, to getting us out on the media, to helping us understand what we're here for.